Alrighty guys, so welcome back to NZ Moped Customs. So I think what I'm going to do today is, or tonight, is dig into this corner and see if we can get the pieces that I've got made, joined together and start blending all these bits together. And stuff. The other thing I'll give you a wee run around because I didn't sort of finish the other video very nicely the other day. It just you end up doing things and you want to get out of here and didn't quite finish that up. So we'll give a quick look around the Maury and then I've got some other bits and pieces to show before we start. Righty. So yeah, the other day we pulled the doors off. Unfortunately I didn't have the camera angle very good. So you've got the doors off, seats out, carpet out. Actually carpet looks in really good nick. Might even better reuse it, if you know what I mean. Clean it up, reuse it. It's actually in really quite good order. Just needs a bloody good clean, if you know what I mean. So it looks like it may have been replaced at some stage. I don't know, if you know what I mean. But yeah, we've got it stripped out. So yeah, we'll obviously have to dig a bit further. But yeah, I've got so far. We've got the glass out of it. The windscreen is actually really good and tidy in here. I think this might have been repainted at some point. There's just a couple of telltales like this has got paint on it. I know that the lady said that she had a wee fender bender and had some repair in that back guard. But I don't know. I don't think it might have been tidied up before she bought it or something. I don't really know, if you know what I mean. But it's got a couple of little telltales where they just haven't covered these rubbers up or taken them off or anything silly like that, you know. That's what I've just picked up and noticed with pulling it apart. And it's had some, I don't know whether it's factory, where the glass has never been out of it. That's factory, if you know what I mean, like grey primer and they put the glass in and then they painted around it. Seems a little odd, but it's quite possible. Don't know, you know what I mean. Like we haven't dug that one out. It was actually a real bitch to get that glass out too. The rubber was so hard I had to frickin' cut it into lots of pieces to get it out, if you know what I mean. This one will be the same. And I think what I'll do is all these rubbers and bits and pieces I'll order from the UK. The ones I seem to find. There may be some other people here that have a better deal, but where I got the stuff from for that little marina was just a pain in the ass. Their stuff just didn't really suit very well, you know what I mean. But anyway, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with this, how this is coming along. You know, there's obviously some obvious shit, but it is what it is. Now, once we get it dug apart a bit more and whatever and figure it out, you know, there's going to be some repairs here, there, and everywhere, but it just how solid it is you know, anybody's guess at this point. But it doesn't look that bad, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, want to see if we can get this on here and at least tack that on. Oh yeah, that's something I'll do before I go too much further. I need to drill those holes down in there, so I can do that. I didn't bring my other little drill with me, I don't think, but no, didn't. But I've got that one, so that's fine. Now this is something I bought. This is this hammer and dolly set that I ordered. It actually looks really, really good. I'm quite impressed just with first impressions, if you know what I mean. So anyway, my first impressions. It looks really good. So it's 3 hammers. So it's got a shorty. It's a square head or rectangle head. So yeah, just sort of what come in the kit. I actually wouldn't want a round head one of these ones, which maybe similar sort of length. I know you can get them, like Snap-on and all those sort of people make them. But yeah, I'm quite impressed. I've actually got a similar hammer to this, but doesn't have a big end and a small end, if you know what I mean. I don't think I've got it here. I don't actually bring any hammers with me because I knew I had these ones here. Yeah, no, I just bought them in the more Fairmont. So yeah, and I've actually ordered a pile of handles, well not a pile, 3 handles to replace some of the ones I've broken. So yeah, and then it's got a door skin hammer, which is awesome because I made one up and then I eventually broke the handle off it. So I think I've broken the handle off it because I made some handles out of some beech. But yeah, so yeah, I'm quite impressed with the fit and the finish on these. It wasn't a cheap set, but I wouldn't say it was like really super expensive, but it wasn't cheap. Like it was $400 or $370 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I can poke it up on the screen. I can check my bank account. But I did buy a digital level angle gauge. Those magnetic ones you can stick on a chassis or gearbox or whatever. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with the set. It's sort of like it's more of a just 3 hammers and $3, but then it's got these other spoons, and it's quite a nice wee light spoon too. Like I built one and it's quite heavy, so a nice little light one would be quite handy. And then it's got this big like spoon bar, which would be really, really handy. I could have done with that today. Doing some body work on a wee Mazda at the body shop I'm working at. So yeah, I think that's going to be a really, really awesome kit. It will be really nice, and it'll be a good addition because, like I said, I don't have one of those. Well, don't have a working one of those at the moment. This is a bit different to my other one that I've got that's similar. I don't really have a shorty. Well, I do have a shorty, but it's short both ways. It's got a head on both sides, I think. Yeah, and all these dollies are actually different to most of the ones I've got. I haven't got anything that's sort of like these ones so much, if you know what I mean. Like I've got similar sort of things, but they're not exactly the same sort of dolly, which is nice. None of these are, like I've got similar ones, but nothing exactly the same, if you know what I mean. So like I'm not doubling up on anything. Not that that would matter, but yeah, it's nice to have some extra variation of shapes and whatever. So yeah, which is good. Sometimes you might buy a kit and you sort of think, I'll get that because it's got some extra bits and pieces in it, but then you'll end up with extra dollies that are identical to what you've already got, or very, very, very similar. These are quite, they are similar, but they're different. They're quite a bit different to some of the stuff that I've got. Not that I can show you here, but I'm quite impressed with the fit and finish and the way they're being ground up. Like it wouldn't take much to really polish these up. And there's no great pitting or marking or anything in them, which is really good too. Like these would, I think, with a wee bit of 400 or even 800, you'd actually get quite a nice mirror finish on these quite quickly if you really, really wanted to, if you know what I mean. But they're quite usable the way they are, which is nice. So anyway, I'm about to dig into this van and finish this corner off. Be making this corner up for this. So yeah, that's going to come in handy as I'm going and getting this all cleaned up and tidied up. So first thing I'm going to do is got to drill a couple of holes in there to fit that mounting bracket like this other side. And yeah, and then I can carry on and film like screw up or cut it to shrink it all together, you know what I mean, to make a shrink, because I haven't got anything to really shrink that yet. That's one of the next tools I want to get a planishing hammer, like a pneumatic planishing hammer on a stand that I can take off and use on panels as well, and make up some thumbnail shrinking dies for it, so I can like do a wee bit more of that sort of stuff without having to obviously cut. Or I haven't got a beater bag either, so if I made something and stretched a panel out, stretched a shape out or a bowl out to make a corner like that, I haven't quite got that facility yet either, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with this hammer and dolly set. I'm really impressed. I didn't want to buy, you can buy some cheap stuff out there. I wouldn't consider this cheap, but I wouldn't consider it really expensive either. I'm pretty sure it's about $400 or thereabouts. I'd have to double check that by the time with freight and stuff to get it to me. But I did also buy. What do I do with that? Righty, oh, we made a bit of progress on this. We've got it halfway welded here. We're starting to get the gaps filled. We've got a long way to go, but we're getting there. So it's got that together, fitting how we want it. I'll just run through a couple of things. I was thinking about taking the skin off, but as soon as I cut down here to try and get that skin off, it actually breaks that piece free. So I think what I'll do in the end is we'll just trim that other piece out on the other one, and we'll just butt it up, just wet up the edge. Yeah, and we added that little piece in there to pull that other skin up against. And yeah, that's pretty much what we've got sorted. But yeah, we've got everything fitted. At some point I'll do that little patch down there that's already been sort of poked in there at some stage. We'll put a better patch in there or something before we get that outer skin on. And we've got to clean up, and we can blow some shit in there and whatever to, you know, some heap of weld through primer and whatever, and just seal that up the best we can before we put the skin on. So yeah, we've got a lot of clean up to do here. Halfway tempted to take this to work and actually get the sandblasting guy just to give that a flick. Frick, get all this tape off. It's a pain in the fucking ass. Like, fuck, it won't move. Well, it does, but it's like glued itself on there. It's weird. And raw steel, it came off that painted surface all right, but it's frickin' raw steel, it's a pain in the ass. It just doesn't want to come off very easy. So yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, at least this is all sort of buttoned up now. We'll have to work that in later, that corner. Put holes in it. Yeah, so I'll come along with the step drill and we'll just open them up a little bit further. We might even put the bracket on there. I'm not sure why these holes are actually in here. Oh no, the bracket does. Does it have? How much bracket is it? It's not that one. No, it's rear brackets. Where are we? Doesn't matter at the moment. It doesn't matter at the moment. Anyway, there's another bracket that goes on the side for those bumpers. I'll have to locate it. It might be, there's some boxes, it could be even in that box there, but it doesn't matter at the moment. Yeah, where they bolt on there. So yeah, we'll have to double check to see whether we actually need to have those other two holes in there and shit like that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So yeah, we'll just, next time we'll carry on, tomorrow night probably, see how we get on, how tight things fall with whatever's going on with the household. So yeah, we might just carry on welding this up and so we can get this cleaned up, and then we'll get the inside of that cleaned up and decide whether we might, yeah, before we weld that on, we might start buzzing all this up too and get that all welded and dressed up. At least then, yeah, just trying to think. Yeah, because we've got to put a series of holes around in here to plug weld that up. So we have to put an extra couple of screws in there to help suck it up into place and whatever. And then obviously we'll have to bang a heap of holes around here to plug weld back on. And we'll probably end up trimming this a bit better too. Trim a bit more of that shit off the bottom where we changed our mind a little bit. But yeah, we're getting along there, making it fit. At least, you know, we can just buzz it all up, and yeah, that'll be the piece we'll trim out here somewhere. Not exactly sure what we'll do there, but yeah, we'll make that work. That'll just slip up there a bit better too. Hopefully, we'll make that work anyway. All right, we'll carry on.
1 week later.
Alrighty. So welcome back to not summer. Right, we'll hook back into this. I'll get everything at this finished welded and cleaned up. And then we'll see if we can get this fucking tape off here, which has been an absolute curse. I actually meant to take this to work the other day and get the guy to sandblast it for me. So I don't have to deal with all the fucking tape, but it's alright. We'll carry and button this up and we'll see if we can get it cleaned up, put it on. Right, so I've got that cleaned up on the inside. Eventually got it cleaned, all the tape off it. Used Scotch-Brite wheel and then some brake clean and whatever, and managed to get the gill and shit off it. So I've sprayed up that. I still want to trim the bottom of this piece off a little bit. It's a bit deep, but not too worried about it at this point. And I've come around here and I've cleaned all this up too underneath here and sprayed a whole heap of frickin' weld through rust protect primer. This shit. This is like a, so you can weld through it and whatever. So you do have to clean it back a little bit where you're gonna, like, especially when you're gonna plug weld. It just makes life a little bit easier, but it just doesn't burn away like regular paint does. So at least when you're blowing some heat and whatever, it doesn't burn it all away around the areas that you don't want it to, if you know what I mean. So it stops it from rotting out so quick. So yeah, hopefully after lunch, which I'm going to go do, we'll trim this off, we'll bang a few holes in here, we'll get up the top on the inside and we'll have a bit more of a clean up in here, and we'll smash a few more holes down through here so we can, well, at least pull it up for a start off, and then we can pull them out and we'll open these up and we'll burn some good plug welds in there that actually holds that panel up, and then plug weld it around there and plug weld it down there, and then the only other piece we'll have to do is work out exactly what we're doing here, whether I'm going to just weld it down here and work out where those holes are and just run them through and just leave that piece there, or what. I'm just not 100% sure. I haven't 100% worked that out, because I could just trim this piece off, if you know what I mean, and then just weld around there, but it might be just as easy to weld up there and just work out where those two holes are and just have a bit of a double skin. It won't be too hard to work out where those holes are, and whatever. I can take a couple of measurements off that line and then just roughly work out where they are and just open them up. I might do that before we put it on. So yeah, and then after that, depending on how long that takes me to get on, it shouldn't be too bad, because we're only have to really weld down there, full weld, and we'll have to weld. I haven't welded this edge up down here or here yet, and a bit of other shit, mainly because I just want to make sure that if I need to tweak this edge or anything to get it to just sort of crush up and line up, then I can just come along and just burn that edge in. And there's a couple other little frickin' holes in here that we can get, but I've got the majority of them. There's only about 3 that I can see. Like there's one there, there, and there. It might be actually. I might burn a little bit more across there. I haven't done that. And these ones here, we can just fill this as we go along. Yeah, and as I said, we'll just trim this off so it's not so deep, and we can just fudge this up a little bit. We can just burn it along this edge, just sort of weld the edge of it, and then just grind it off and clean it up so it looks decent. But like, it's a wee bit ugly, that corner, but fuck, you know, it kind of is what it is. But it's not that bad. Like, it's, you know, it's solid. It's a wee bit rough. Would I have liked to done better? Yes, I think maybe if I had a planishing hammer and stretching dies and a beater bag and all that sort of shit, I probably could have made it in one piece without having to, you know, might have just joint it there, if you know what I mean. But it is what it is. It's not bad. It's a wee bit rough, wee bit of filler. Fuck, there's plenty of filler on it. Like, it's not going to be thick. We'll just put enough over it and just blend it out. We'll just freaking quickly DA it off and whatever, and just smooth it out, run around there a couple of times with a block, just make sure there's no weird high spots. You know, it'll be fucking, you know, I might have a 16th on there, you know, maybe an 8th in places where it's a wee bit high, and fucking be done with it, if you know what I mean. It can't be any worse than what was there. You know, big bits of frickin' chicken wire and all sorts of other shit that was jammed in there. It's still piece floating around here somewhere. I kicked it the other day, I think. Doesn't matter, but yeah, should be right. At least then that'll be done, and then I can finish burning those lines in, and yeah, and then we can start on this, getting the rest of this shit sorted, and then we might have to move down into some of those other areas and just check some of them out. But yeah, I'm gonna go have some lunch, and then we'll come back and we'll start fitting that on. At least then it'll look like that, with a bit of body filler. You know, we're gonna have to body fill this too, you know what I mean, and up into the other piece, but you know, it's better than what was there. Game's not better than what was there. Righty, let's see if we can get this back panel on. So we want to start off, drill the 2 holes in the end piece of that panel to match up with these 2 here. Match up with those 2, and then we'll work out exactly where the... I think what I'm going to do is just put the original piece over top of this, because if I cut yeah, I just don't know if this bracket is going to stay there if I try and pick this skin off. So it might be just as easy to just overlap it. It's not going to matter much for that one piece. It's not ideal, but it's not a deal breaker either, if you know what I mean. We'll go from this edge here. Seven.
Audio Jungle.
Right. Just got interrupted with a phone call. So I've got this all T screwed on with a million T screws. So basically I'm just going to pull each one out and plug weld it. The weld down here, weld these. I'm just halfway wondering if I should maybe just put a T screw in here and just pull that panel up a bit tighter, or actually at this end. Pull that panel up against there. Oh, it's probably not going to matter, because when you put the bolt in there, it'll pull it up anyway. Yeah. Just wonder if I should back all these off and drill all the holes through. They'll get a weld bigger, so then they're a wee bit easier to fill right through. And then we can give this a final dress up. That should actually hold now, is it? Yeah, it does a bit. Let's see now. I'd like to freaking beat that in a little bit. Probably not. Better. We can fill that and make it better. Join that, I can push that a little bit. That's cool. Because I weld that alpha skin to that alpha skin. Like that. It's probably not meant to be joined, but I will just join it along here. We can clean all that up and we can fudge that one in. I just like to hold that together somehow. Then we can eventually weld it on the back side and crush those edges in to join. And we can clean all that shit up. Put a couple extra holes through here. I'm not really worried about filling the inner holes well, because I'll open these out a little bit so I can weld through the hole a bit easier. It's a little overkill putting so many screws in, but now that I've got everything pulled up, I might put an extra screws in here. I'll have to weld that afterwards. We'll join that to that. Somewhere amongst there. Not too stressed about that. And then we'll eventually put some tape down here the side and we'll mush some stem sealer into there once we've got everything welded up and cleaned up and dressed up and whatever. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. Right, we'll go have some lunch and then I'll come back, because this is on now. It ain't going anywhere. That's fully attached apart from probably a little bit of clean up and just finish that weld down there. You know, I've got a freaking, yeah, probably a few holes to fill and whatever, where I've plug welded and just dress it up. And then we can start burning this other patches and we'll just work your way around slowly. But yeah, that corner's on now. Ain't going anywhere. I think that was probably the easiest thing to do, is just drill those holes through there and just lay it over top. Nobody's going to know. It's just you and me and, you know, 5,000 other people. So yeah, anybody else that watches it eventually. Yeah, like it's not the prettiest repair, but it's, you know, I can give it another wee grind up and whatever and knock a few more of these high spots down, but it's solid. You know, it's not full of frickin', where's that bit of chicken wire shit that was kicking around here before. Doesn't matter. Seen it was floating around here. It might be underneath the. Yeah, definitely way better than that shit anyway. Yeah, like it's not full of that shit and bog and whatever. Now it's kind of a little bit of filler on it. Now we'll do a little bit of shaping up there. You know, we'll just get a smear down there. Now we'll run some seam sealer down that seam. When we get that far, you know, and then just do the rest of the body work and whatever, you know. But it's fucking damn sight better than a whole pile of fucking rust. At least it's solid metal. It's attached properly, you know. Like it was made in multiple pieces, but sometimes it's just what you got to do with the gear that you got, you know. The more you learn to shape and dolly and the few more tools you get and work out how they work and what you can do with them, you know, the better the panels you're going to make, you know what I mean? But I'm fairly happy with that. It's roughly the right shape. It's a little ugly. It is what it is, you know what I mean? By the time you smear, you know, a little bit of mud over it, nobody's going to know any fucking difference. So. And it can't be any worse than the rest of the van is, you know what I mean? We're probably going to have to strip the worst of this panel anyway. And we've got some repairs to do around there. You can see there's a whole pile of fucking mud in that too. So, and hopefully the other side is not as, I know the other side's not as bad, but hopefully it's not as bad, you know. We don't even have to rebuild the whole fucking corner either, but yeah, a little bit of filler, grind up, clean up, whatever, when we've got it all welded in. And no, kind of won't know any different. We'll trim that little bit of shit off the bottom because it's a wee bit deep. You know, we'll blend it in with the other stuff. We've got a little bit of frickin', got to pull those two panels in together, so we'll get in behind that and we'll beat the inner back towards this one a wee bit, and we'll put a couple little tacks on that. Trim the rest of it up, and it should be fucking sweet as a button. And we can shape that, whatever. And with a little filler. Like it's not going to have a whole pile of filler on there. There'll be a wee bit of filler on it, but it's not going to be a whole pile. It's not going to be the whole thing's not going to be made out of filler and fucking chicken wire, so that's all that matters. Anyway, we'll catch you later on. I'll go have some lunch and then we'll come back and clean this up for another hour. We'll spend another hour or two on it anyway. See how far we can get. Righty. Oh, we might weld this corner up. I'll just get myself set up here a little bit better. Just ladder out of the fucking road. And get the tripod in a half decent place. Get myself set up here. It's now the next Saturday again. So yeah, we'll crack into this to get this welded up and we'll make this the end of the video. And then, I don't know, hopefully I can get this done today. Should be able to. And yeah, then when, maybe tomorrow, I don't know, we'll see. I might dig into the Murray and we'll start another video on that. Righty, morning. So I'll dig back into this corner. I just got back down here. I'll just show you a couple of little things I've been doing and just talk about a couple of things. So I've been converting all my blocks to Velcro hook and loop. Some of the ones, the ones I took to work down to the other big body shop, I've converted most of them. And I've run out of, obviously, this is just the other half of it, so that's no good to me. But I wanted to find some wider tape. This is only inch wide, as you can see. So yeah, that's where I run out with what I had left between those two blocks. So yeah, I've done a whole pile of these narrow ones down at the other workshop. Did a whole pile of them, plus a couple of skinny Dura blocks. So yeah, this is what I bought, but this is what I could just find locally, if you know what I mean. I think it was about $16 for 2.5 meters of inch wide. But I know online I can buy wider variations. You know, for if I can get, hopefully I can get something. You know, maybe double the width, or even maybe I think you can get. These blocks are 70mm or about 2 3/4 wide, or inches wide, or whatever it is. But I think I can buy some 100mm wide stuff, which that'll give me a little shave off edge, but it'll help fill up. You know, if I have to put a whole little short strips on there, I don't care, if you know what I mean. On some of the smaller stuff that I've got left over, you know, we'll do all the big long stuff, and then all the chopped off bits we'll put it on some of these other blocks. You know, I can even put a couple long strips on that, you know, like skinny strips on that. Doesn't really matter, doesn't worry me, if you know what I mean. But you want to get that corner finished welded, dressed up. The main reason why I used this stuff for start off was used sticky back, because that's what was I thought that would have been common here, but it doesn't seem to be in New Zealand. Everything seems to be hook and loop, or just regular, you know, just sheets of paper that you can wrap around a block or whatever. But we use a lot of this at work in the body shop so much. Like we do obviously do all the welding, metal work, and then the initial filler work afterwards, you know, if needed, obviously. And obviously we're doing what we're doing, like we're doing a lot of heavy industrial type stuff, you know, and a few cars and a few minor panel repairs and caravans and tractors and all sorts of shit. So 9 times out of 10 you're beating it out reasonably good, or you're replacing something and then you're putting a skimmer filler on here and there, depending on what you're working on. So yeah, I've got this is 80 grit. I think this is the heaviest this comes in, like the coarsest, which is all you need for doing fill work. Like I used to use a lot of 40 and just regular paper, but this is just as fucking good. So yeah, we do have like just the regular DA pads. We have a few of these DA type pads at work that in 40s, but most of the time I'm just using either, well, here I use 60s just to help rough in a panel. If I want something a bit coarser or something, or to rip down a bit of paint. But I've actually bought this here. I want to try this. I haven't tried it here just because my compressor is a bit smaller. I've always found that this takes a fair bit of driving, and after a while it gets slow, so it's not working so efficient. Whereas I want to try this more palm style one, but it's the same size. Hold on, the same size pad, but it's just obviously way smaller. So yeah, I want to try all this to see if it's worth me buying one, or just stick with this, if you know what I mean. I think this will be far more efficient. It's a lot more modern design. So yeah, like I will get myself one eventually, but like we've got a whole pile of these in the body shop, so if I have to borrow one occasionally, it doesn't matter much. So yeah, like I was originally using this sticky back stuff, but it's garbage. So I just started using that net, and I was just wrapping it around the blocks. But it wasn't ideal on the wider ones, which was what I really want to use, like these ones here. Like I've had the Durabox, you know, for initial shaping, but like when I do like all my fine sanding, like I like these wider blocks. They just work better, whereas I was using the more skinny ones, which I made up as well, like which were handy in different areas. You know, different size blocks have uses in different areas. Or if you've got a really flexy panel, like these skinnier ones are better. Whereas the wider block will still flex the same, like it's about the same length. But it's not quite so forgiving because it's wider, so it takes a wee bit more to bend around a curved panel, which, you know, this sort of stuff, or this sort of stuff. So the narrow block's quite handy for just, you know, if you had to do a bit of panel repair and it just wasn't perfect, you know, you put your mud over there. That thinner block is really handy just to bring your shape back, and, you know, if you've got to put a wee bit of filler in there, you just want to get it nice and even. That's where those skinnier ones come in, because like a Durablock's good, but it's never going to sit on there, if you know what I mean. Whereas, I'll just throw it on tripod for a second. This is why I like these Durablocks, and I was actually showing some of the guys at work and even the body shop reps, and they're going, oh shit. Yeah, it's not something I thought of, because they're not common here, if you know what I mean. So I'm educating. Cut you off there, that's all right. Marvel of editing. So anyway, try and show you here. So it was this here. If you're doing a little bit of filler work, and you're working here, you know, this here will take the form of this. You know, this is probably a little bit thick too, but like even a shorter version of this, you can hold it up on that panel and get a bit more of that shape into it. You know, when you roll it on, you know, this is probably a bit big and a bit thick. But this here, yeah, it will form to a degree too. It's not as flexible as what this is, if you know what I mean. You see that up there? It's not quite as nice as inflexible as this. You know, if you're doing your final bodywork. It is to a degree, you know what I mean? These aren't bad. Like they do flex, but like these, I don't know, they seem to be, oh no, they just seem to work better. Like even like this one here, you know? And you can get a bigger surface too. You know, if you get a big long panel, like this is pretty roundy. If you get a big long sort of mildly curved panel on something, a big car, they're just good. You're sort of covering a bit more ground. But yeah, like I would like to build some thinner ones too at some point if I can get something that, you know, probably maybe half that thickness. You know, what I think that's about 4.5, 5 mil, so it's about 1/4 inch. So if I could get something that was an 1/8 of an inch thick, it would be even more flexy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't need too many, but I could have, you know, another 3 or 4 blocks, a bit like that. The same, you know, similar sort of sizes, and it would work really well. But yeah, so most things seem to be hook and loop here. That's why I'm putting Velcro on them, just so I can use this sort of paper, this net, and also, you know, I've got it in 240 and 400. We actually use a lot of 150 as well at work. Once we sort of ripped it down with a bit of 80 and just got everything roughed in, then me and the other guy in the body shop will quickly run over it with a bit of 150 and just smooth it off a little bit more, and then it'll go to the guys that do all the priming and whatever, and they'll do all the finishing work. So yeah, if we get it into 150, that's gives them, it's not quite as rough a texture as the 80 for the primer to fill. You know, especially if they're only just putting 1 or 2 coats on something, you know, like machinery and stuff like that. You don't want to be putting, you know, 5 or 6 coats on, like where you're doing like some old school stuff like this. You know, you want to make sure it's a bit more straighter, whereas some of the machinery doesn't matter so much. So if they can get away with a couple of coats of halfway decent hide builder and then give it a quick block out with about 400 or 320 or 400 after that, and then blow some solid colour on. But if they're doing something a bit more, a car or something like that, well then they'll go through the extra steps, with a bit more primer on something. But yeah, that's why we use a bit of 150 that was shot. But yeah, anyway, I want to get this corner cleaned up, ground up, and then I might put a bit of glass filler in, and we'll call the end of this video. I was kind of trying half by end it yesterday, but I just never got back here. Had a few dramas at home. There was a bit of wind and broke the frickin' glass in the back door, so you had to deal with that, so I never got back down here. So anyway, we'll crank up the welder. There was a hole around here. I might fill that first, and then come around here and we'll dress up this corner, weld that up, line it up, and we'll prep this for put a bit of glass filler in it. Right, I think that will make this the end of this video. So obviously after this, I'm gonna, when it's cured, we'll knock it down a bit. We'll just rip back over it quickly with the 60 on the DA, knock all the high spots off, whatever, just clean up whatever, a few in the bolt holes and whatever, if there's any filler in there. Yeah, at some point we're going to go along here with seam sealer. You know, we'll go back through here, seam sealer. You know, seal it up, push it into the gaps, whatever. So all we're trying to do with that, with a little bit of glass filler, is there's a shitload of welding there. You know, there's lots of joins, whatever. We're just trying to seal up any pinholes that are bound to be in the welds. That there'll be something that we've missed somewhere. I guarantee it. Or not TIG welding it and whatever, you know, you're not laying a continuous bead. It's spot, 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 you know, and you're moving around. You know, in some areas you can lay the heat in and you can just keep sort of, you can sort of run half beads, if you know what I mean. But it just depends on where you are. Like up here you can't, you know, whereas sometimes, you know, when you're in these sort of corners, you can lay, you know, quite a few tacks on top of each other, you know, and get a better weld. You know, and less pinholes and all that sort of shit, but it is what it is. You know, I'm no fucking, the screen's gone half dark there, I don't know why. But yeah, I'm no super, like, really freaking perfectionist welder. You know, my eyesight is not super good, you know, but I can make a decent job. Grind it up, clean it up. You know, some days are better than others. You know, if you're working with really clean pieces of steel and it's butt welded really nice and all that sort of shit, and you're not trying to fill gaps, you can end up with a pretty nice weld. But you know, it is what it is. Grind it up, clean it up. It's solid now. You know. So yeah, a little bit of that glass resin filler. This like short strain stuff. This is like really fine mix, that Robolo stuff, whereas actually the stuff I've been using at work is quite a bit different to this. If I remember, I'll take a picture of the can, but it's quite a lot brighter green, and it's got quite a bit more of a hair in it. Well, this is, I think it's quite a bit shorter. It's a bit more, it's not so coarse, I guess you would call it. So it's a little bit more resiny, so it actually goes in. I think it probably goes in a little bit nicer, but the other stuff's probably, I would almost say, a little stronger if you were trying to build up a glass panel or something like that. If you're trying to do a glass repair and you've laid a bit of mat in and then you want to use like a glass filler over top to, you know, to even out whatever. I think the other stuff's probably better. Well, in some ways I probably wouldn't want having both. I quite like the stuff we use at work. Body filler not so much, but it's a different brand again. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that now. Once we've laid a bit of filler on there, you know, I might have to knock a couple of these horror spots down at some point, but by the time we lay a bit of filler on there and knock it down, pretty it up, it's not gonna be any worse than fucking any of the rest of it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I think the next one, when we get back onto this, is we'll get some filler on here. Obviously we'll get this stripped back a bit more. We'll lay into that corner. We'll probably blow a bit of etch on here or something. This is direct to metal, this shit. You can do it either way, obviously. We'll lay some etch on here or something. Like if we're going to end up stripping the worst of this panel back, we'll lay a bit of etch on over top. And yeah, but we're going to have to dig into that corner as well. And whatever. So yeah, we'll call it here at the end, and yeah, we'll carry on from here. So thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe and hit the bell and whatever, and give us a thumbs up and leave a comment and ask a question, whatever. Yeah. And that charger I was working at work is now away to be in primer. So if I get a chance, before it gets painted and everything, I'll take a couple pictures in primer and whatever. It looks pretty freaking shit hot. They were just doing a clean up block out the other day, after all the work that I had done on it. So yeah, if I can, I'll do a quick little, just a wee snippet, just because it's something cool. It's not the fucking normal trucks and tractors and other shit that we're fixing. So yeah, I think all the panels are all blocked out and cleaned up now, and yeah, the body was, that was one of the last thing to be done. We're just waiting on a couple of little things that I've got to fit to it, but we're waiting on some 3D printed pieces that are part of the body work, because you just can't buy them, and see how they turn out, and then I've got to fit them, and then yeah, it can go into paint and into final paint and primer and whatever. So yeah, I'll try and get a little snippet of that too, maybe in the next video. But the next video will be back on the Maori. I'll do, if I come back down after lunch, I'll do a little bit more filler work and shit on this, and we'll make a start on the other video as well. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.